Today we are going to be ranking every single legend card released in the Pokemon TCG. Hey guys, welcome back to another tier list Tuesday on the Whimsicast. Today we're going to be ranking these legend cards from the HeartGold, Soul Silver, and Legend series. HeartGold Silver was the English name, and Legend series was what they were called in Japanese. Legend cards were cards that you had to have two of in your hand to play them down, and they formed a picture similar to a V-Union, but you had to have them both in hand instead of the discard pile. And they did give up two prizes for the Pokemon with two of them on there, where I believe the Lugia and HoOh only gave up one prize. I'm going to be ranking these based on just how much I like them. As always, if you enjoyed these tier list videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like. I upload tier lists every single Tuesday, as well as retro tabletop content every single Friday. So let's get right into that. Starting off, we have HoOh Legend. This one is pretty gnarly. Just a really cool looking card. It's kind of got like a almost Mexican flag vibe with the way that it is the red, white, and green. Very similar in that way, and the feathers just look absolutely gnarly. The only part I really don't like about this card is the feet, the talons, which are very scary looking, which does lower it down just a little bit below the other legends. When I'm ranking these, I am going to be ranking these on a scale of comparatively to the other legends. Obviously, like, all of these legends are like A or S tier cards because they're all great, but compared to the other legends, HoOh is probably a C tier legend. Never really saw much play either. Then we have Lugia Legend, another one that didn't see much play. This one is notable because it does 200 damage, and it's also just a giant Lugia card where he's just like swimming toward the border. I did own this one when I was younger. Frankly, I think I owned almost all of these when I was younger, if not all of these. I think the only one I didn't own was the full Kyogre Groudon. I think we were missing the Groudon half of that one. Other than that, I think I've owned all of these at some point. Do not own HoOh or Lugia currently. Does 200 damage, which is really sick, but unfortunately just not easy to power up. So unlike the Lugia EX of old with its Elemental Blast, it was not seeing much play. The art on this thing, though, is just absolutely gnarly, just swimming through the border. Just really cool background on this one. I think we're going to give it an A tier card, really a collector's dream card. Then we have Suicune and Entei Legend, one of the more notable legends playability-wise. Legends get a little bit of a bad rap from people for not being playable. Frankly, I know at least like 5 of them saw play, if not more. So like and I wasn't like a player back then, but I know that some of them saw play. So they kind of get a bad rap for like having 5 out of like 9. That's not too bad considering normal ratios of playability. And then this one was one of the best ones. It was only used mainly for its bulk and utility as a bulky wall, but it was used in the 2011 second place Worlds deck, The Truth, piloted by Ross Cawthon. Second place in the Masters division, almost won the World Championship, one of the biggest surprise decks. Nobody knew it was coming, and it kind of just took the world by storm. This was a crucial part of that deck, just having a lot of HP, being able to attack for pretty low energy, just do a bit of damage and then heal it off. It was really cool. The artwork on this card, though, it's honestly not my favorite. It's probably the weakest of all the legends art-wise. I don't have the Truth built yet, so I'm not like that attached to it, so I'm going to have to put it in C tier just because the art on it is definitely weaker than the other legend cards, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just not a big fan of Entei. Then we have Entei and Raiku Legend, another one that saw play back in the day. This one is really sick artwork with Entei like clawing at Raiku, kind of in a fierce battle with each other, which is really cool. And this one saw play in 2010 mainly. If you've played that era, it's thrown into a bunch of different decks, like Donphan can play it, Machamp can play it, Luxchamp can play it, Magnezone can play it. You can really throw this card in like any deck that has any compatible like energy to work with it, or even just decks that just like to play like Rainbow Energy or Multi-Energy, right, to pay for the attack cost. Super bulky card, and you just explode all of the Pokemon with Pokepowers on the field with its Thunderfall attack, just trying to win the game in like a single attack. Maybe it's like your Hail Mary play, right? It's a really cool card in that regard. I'm going to go give it an A tier for that. Then we have Raiku and Suicune Legend. This is the first ever legend that I completed as a kid. I pulled both halves of it from packs when I was younger, and I was really excited. I sadly don't own this one anymore. The only one outside of the ones I've revealed so far that I own is actually the Raiku and Entei. Do not own this one anymore, sadly. I plan to eventually buy all of these. I own like 3 legends and a half right now. so I guess I'll have to get around to buying them someday. They're expensive now. This card is really, really gnarly, though. Did see a tiny bit of play, not very mainstream, but with Magnezone and Magnezone Prime, you have the electric energy there that you could accelerate to it and just use a big attack while being a super bulky 2-prizer. And this one just has really gnarly art. It's another one I'm going to have to put in A tier. Like, I'm tempted to put it up in S tier, but I know that I'm going to put 2 up in S tier already that I like more than this card. Then we have Kyogre and Groudon Legend, the only Legend I've never owned a complete version of. This card was absolutely just kind of a menace of a card if you've played PTCGO, the ladder on Legacy, and you run into this. It is a wild deck, but is it good? Absolutely not. This card was not at all good in the competitive side of the game. Is absolutely wild art-wise, though, and is a very, very cool card. Definitely up there on the coolness scale. Going to put that in B tier. Then we have Rayquaza and Deoxys Legend, arguably the most playable of these Legend cards. I believe it did win the World Championships in the Masters division, piloted, I believe, by David Cohen to a first place. Played in a Raybor deck, Rayquaza, essentially Raybor, because you just power up this Rayquaza Deoxys Legend with the Embor in the deck. It also had, backup attackers like, the Reshiram, which was also in like every fire deck with Embor. So just a really, really powerful card. It took like extra prizes when you took a knockout, and it just had a big one-hit KO attack. It's like Lugia Legend, but done right in terms of attacking. As for the artwork, though, I think this one is really lacking artwork-wise. It's probably my least favorite alongside Entei Suicune. I think I like Entei Suicune less. I do actually own this one in real life, though. It is very nice in that regard. Picked one that halves up for $5, and the ones for like $10 before they got really expensive. Scary. Money's hard. Gonna put this in B tier. Then we have Darkrai and Cresselia Legend. Now, in playability-wise, this one is definitely not there. It's got some cool attacks. You can put things to Lost Zone, which is really, really cool. But what this card does do is it's one of the coolest arts on any Pokemon card. One I'm glad to own. This is the 3rd Legend I own, because I own Entei, Raiku, Deoxys, Rayquaza, and I own Darkrai Cresselia. This is one of the coolest cards of all time, art-wise. S tier. Stunning card art-wise. Then we have Palkia and Dialga Legend. This one is a little bit of a story to tell, but it has one of the coolest attacks out of any card ever released. It's time control attack. You discard all metal energy attached to it, and then you give your opponent 2 prize cards from the top of their deck. And this can just get out of control because you can accelerate the energy back with the Magnezone I was talking about before. To use with this guy, you can accelerate lightning or metal energy, so you can just accelerate the energy back and just keep on doing this over and over. And if they knock it out, they get 2 prizes, but you gave them probably 4 prizes in the meantime, so who cares? And this can go back to your hand because if you have Floatzel on your bench, it makes it so anytime your water Pokemon are knocked out, and this is water and metal, you get it back, and all cards attached to it into your hand, which is super sick. Just a really funny meme card. The artwork on this one's not bad. It's not like my favorite. I think I'd rank these 4 art-wise above the Palkia Legend. But for like just if you've ever seen the picture, I'll put it up in the editing right now. If you've ever seen the picture of the dude with like 20 prize cards from 2010, when this card was played, like that's what makes this card legendary, and it truly is an S tier Legend card. Triumphant really was a great set, having both my favorite Legends there as well as most of my favorite Primes. So that is today's list for the Legend Pokemon. If you'd like to do this tier list, you can do it down below. I will hopefully also remember to leave a link to all of my other tier lists in a playlist. If you want to watch all my other tier list videos, I do tier lists every single Tuesday, and they should be in a playlist down below. So give me your thoughts in the comments down below as well. Maybe you disagree with me, that's fine. People have opinions. Mine are right, but, it's fine to disagree with me. It's fine to be wrong. And thank you guys so much for tuning into the Whimsicast. Stay tuned for Tier List Tuesdays and on Fridays, hopefully, Retro Tabletop content coming back pretty soon. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next time.